fathers get one day and they're just as important as a gay uncle? You want me to celebrate my gay uncle? That's what you want me to do? And then you got the Mother's Day gets one day, but a gay uncle gets a day. So the equivalent of a gay uncle is the same as a mother and a father. Is that what we're doing right now in California or other places? So all I'm saying to you is this. Let's add one other thing to this, Newsom. Great policy. I'm with you. When children and teens are in school, they should be focused on their studies, not their screens. When children and teens are in school, they should be focused on their studies, not their genders. How about you do that next?
Gavin Newsom just walked straight into a rhetorical buzzsaw. And spoiler alert, his slick hair couldn't save him. Patrick Bet-David didn't just call him out. He delivered a full breakdown that felt like a TED Talk built around dismantling every ounce of Newsom's polished chaos. California's so-called golden boy just got fact-checked into oblivion with the kind of precision that could make interns flinch. If you thought Newsom could spin his way out of anything, think again, because this time the spin cycle completely broke. Buckle up for what's coming.
Who's one of the worst governors, but he's got a good line of stuff, and he'll tell everyone how well he's done, but it's the first time they've ever lost more people than they gained.
And forgive me, I know he's the President of the United States. Forgive me, I didn't, I didn't. Yeah, he calls me new scum. Come on.
Because you are.
I mean, how do I explain that to my kid? Now I have my kids' friends calling my kids new scum. That I get, because I was called that in 7th grade, but not by a 79-year-old. Model better goddamn behavior,
Look at
man.
this guy, just
Forgive the goddamn.
Before we move on, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, because you definitely don't want to miss this one. California. The land where the sun never stops shining, the rent never stops rising, and the politicians are always auditioning for their next Netflix documentary, has once again taken center stage. Gavin Newsom, the state's crown prince of hair gel and hollow promises, just got steamrolled by Patrick Bet-David in what can only be called a masterclass of fact-based obliteration. There were no shouting matches and no political spin this time, just a surgical strike delivered with spreadsheets.
While he's doing a podcast, CNBC releases which state is the #1 economy in America for 3 years in a row, Rob. If you can post that picture, guess what?
Bingo.
For the 3rd year in a row, Florida's #1 in economy, according to CNBC 50-state analysis for 2025. Every day, I'm at the cigar lounge the other day.
And remember how I mentioned earlier that Jay's ex-best friend of Gotti also exposed him? Well, according to Irv, Jay was jealous of DMX and even sabotaged a joint album that he, Ja Rule, and X were working on back in the day because he was upset that X outshined him on every track.
Antichrist Pat at the end, I wouldn't be
He's one of the
surprised.
most skilled politicians that I've ever seen. I really respect. You can respect an enemy for their capabilities.
Yeah.
You can respect it. I respect Newsom, and he is so clever.
Oh,
and
Tom, I'm not even joking. If he announces and he becomes a president, I wouldn't be surprised if he's on the podium and he just rips off his mask and he is the devil, and I'd be like, oh.
A lot of people were quick to believe Jaguar, because everything she said matches what is happening to Tyler right now. Some even compare it to what the industry did with Lil Nas X when they poured millions into his career, gave him Grammys during his controversies, and then suddenly dropped him, leaving him without a hit. Since Tyler seems to be following the same path, coming into the industry through a TikTok song and winning a Grammy, the comparison feels even stronger.
Leader with great policies. If you and I were to compare Newsom and DeSantis, who's a better communicator? Newsom. Who is more physically attractive, tall, on camera, looks better? Newsom. Who likes the limelight more? Newsom. Who is probably more comfortable around people? Newsom. Do we give a shit?
Patrick Bet-David wasn't dazzled. He calmly laid out the numbers like a finance professor tearing apart a student's flimsy startup pitch. He pointed out that while Newsom was busy polishing his halo, the state was collapsing in slow motion. Wildfires aren't just natural disasters in California anymore. They become annual traditions. The state can't figure out how to manage its forests, but will spend months debating the moral weight of plastic straws.
Argument, the way that he does in a logical way, is the reason why I don't know a lot of people that don't love their governor in the state of Florida. And if they do, they're on the opposite end. But the people that are working, what clip is this, Rob, with Newsom? Is he talking about DeSantis?
No, this is Gavin Newsom talking about President Trump, talking about him masquerading.
Meanwhile, Newsom goes on press tours claiming that California is leading the nation in compassion. Spoiler alert, compassion doesn't smell like urine and despair. It's like bragging about your Michelin-starred kitchen while rats crawl across the stove. And then there's the Great Migration out of California. You know things are bad when people voluntarily pack up and move to Texas or Florida just to escape the madness. Over 800,000 people loaded up their Prius and said, nope. And these weren't just disgruntled baristas or wannabe actors. These were tech founders, business owners, and families who once believed in the California dream. Now, they're living the Lone Star life. And Gavin can take credit for fueling the U-Haul industry boom. Patrick Bet David didn't just highlight this. He lived it. He moved to Texas himself.
We care about that. We care about results. What did DeSantis do when there was a hurricane and a bridge went down? 2-3 days it's built up. What happened when all the issues, what's going on in the state of Florida? Like this. What happened when he, at some points they had certain policy during COVID that they didn't like, and boom, within a week or two they adjusted. But it was like this, right? It was so quick the way that we're doing it.
The message? You can't run a state like a fashion show and expect the economy not to trip on the runway. And then there's the tax situation, California's favorite pastime. If it moves, they tax it. If it doesn't, they regulate it. The state's top income tax rate is 13.3%, the highest in the nation. That's not a tax, that's a threat. Businesses are fleeing faster than influencers during a TikTok outage. And what does Newsom do? He doubles down. More taxes, more regulation, more virtue signaling. Patrick laid it bare. California isn't a business-friendly state. It's a business-hostile state wearing a business-friendly mask. And the mask is cracking. Entrepreneurs don't want to navigate a maze of bureaucracy just to open a coffee shop. They want freedom, not lectures from government officials who never ran a lemonade stand. Let's talk about crime. That thing that's not real until you see it on the evening news.
Fuels, but when you hear him talk, he's one of the oiliest guys you're going to meet.
Ooh, good pun right
See what
there.
I did there? See what I
Big
did there?
pun. Wow.
But one of the things that he talks about is we created green jobs. He doesn't talk about the thousands and thousands of Tesla jobs that left.
Yeah, that's right.
When he says, we created green jobs. So you have to listen to what Gavin Newsom says. You don't need to fact check this guy, but you have to context check him constantly.
I like that.
Because he always
context check.
Correct.
I like that.
Good point.
Patrick didn't need to embellish anything. He just pointed to footage. Smash and grabs, store closures, entire retail chains abandoning major cities. California has become the state where capitalism goes to die, and it's a slow, heavily taxed death. Newsom, of course, blames anyone and everyone except himself. The economy, racism, climate change, Mercury in retrograde, anything but his own policies. He backs soft-on-crime DAs who think enforcement is mean and consequences are colonialism, while law-abiding citizens are left clutching their yoga mats in fear. And then there's the education circus. California spent a record $128 billion on public education, yet somehow can't teach kids to read, write, or function in the real world. But hey, at least they can tell you their pronouns by age 6. Test scores are abysmal. Standards keep dropping, and the curriculum seems to have less math and more marks. Patrick nailed the disconnect perfectly.
Reputational damage that's being done as they're sitting there on horses with American flags running through soccer fields, scaring kids that are playing soccer in the middle of the day at a summer camp. For what? Just toughness. It's a weakness masquerading as strength. That's what I don't like about this.
Newsom calls it progress. Patrick calls it malpractice. And the numbers side with Patrick. California ranks near the bottom nationwide for literacy and numeracy. But don't worry. Students are fully trained to write strongly worded emails about microaggressions. And then comes a cherry on this dystopian Sunday. Gavin Newsom wants to be president. Because if you completely tank one state, why not apply for promotion? He launched a national tour plastering his face on billboards like he's advertising aftershave while California crumbled behind him. It's like the captain of the Titanic swimming ahead to pitch his new yacht. Patrick Bet David saw right through it. This wasn't leadership. It was a vanity campaign. A presidential pregame with no platform, no accountability, and no results. Just vibes. Patrick hammered it home. If Newsom's track record in California is any indication, giving him the keys to the country would be like handing your car to the guy who just totaled your garage.
You do, there's a clip. Is this the one? Go ahead and play this clip. Same interviewer, by the way. Coincidence, but go ahead.
Mind would want to run when you have someone of such esteem as our incumbent president of the United States, with a record of accomplishments and a man of character, a man of decency.
Newsom's defenders insist he's charismatic, articulate, and confident. But so is every con artist on earth. The problem isn't how he talks. It's what he's done. And what he's done is drive California straight into a ditch lined with avocado peels and broken dreams. Patrick didn't just roast Newsom. He exposed him. The emperor has no policy. The speeches are polished, but the state is falling apart. The branding is elite, but the governance is elementary. Newsom is a product. All packaging, no substance. While Gavin keeps smiling for cameras and dodging responsibility like a poorly timed water balloon, Patrick Bet David calmly points to the scoreboard. Homelessness up, crime up, taxes up, education down. Businesses gone, and morale buried under red tape. But hey, at least the lighting at his press briefings is impeccable. Because clearly, when your state is hemorrhaging residents faster than a middle school dodgeball team, the next logical step is to run for president.
Saying this, okay, besides the Trump evil Hitler, because that shit didn't work, your side literally called him Hitler and the guy got shot in the freaking head. Okay, that's your party. Now he's gonna be gone. Okay, who are you guys gonna put up? Who is it? Because it looks like it's gonna be Gavin Newsom. He's podcast, all this shifting to the other side. You guys literally have nobody.
I would bet you any amount of money that it's not Gavin Newsom.
It's going to be the front runner for this upcoming
I will bet you any amount of money that the nominee in 2028 will.
It's like a chef auditioning for MasterChef while rats flee his own restaurant kitchen, carrying scraps of burnt food. He's not solving problems. He's running circles around them, hoping no one notices the scorched earth left behind. And then came the mic drop moment. Patrick didn't just throw shade. He turned on the floodlights. His core message was simple. Charisma means nothing without competence. Leadership isn't a fashion show. It's the unglamorous grind of actually solving problems. You don't get credit for polished speeches when people can't afford gas, groceries, or even U-Haul out of your state. Newsom's entire shtick is performance art. Patrick delivered a refreshing but devastating reminder. Maybe, just maybe, the job of governor is to govern, not audition for a presidential TikTok series. His argument was airtight. If your residents are fleeing, your policies are failing, and your cities look like post-apocalyptic movie sets, then maybe it's time to put down the selfie stick and pick up a budget spreadsheet. Accountability over ambition.
Talks about this all the time. It's so crazy. He can go to the 9th step. He just can't get to that 10th step. He's constantly talking about the wokeism. He's constantly talking about kids being indoctrinated, about the regulations, trying to build something on his house, an extension of a house that takes 7 years when it should have took 7 days. He talked about the taxes. He talked about the crime. He's talked about the homelessness. But there's some personal relationship with Gavin Newsom, which you mentioned on the podcast with you.
He loves him.
He said, I love him, that he can't.
And then came the final punch. It wasn't just savage. It was poetic. The emperor has no policy. Strip away the headlines, the soft lighting, and the recycled slogans, and what's left? A governor presiding over historic levels of homelessness, sky-high crime, record-breaking taxes, and a tech exodus that makes California look like it's going through a digital divorce. Yet somehow, this man believes he's the chosen one to unite the country. It's the political version of saying, I swear I can change. Patrick didn't need to scream or rant. He just showed the receipts. And the result? Newsom didn't look like a national leader. He looked like a failed brand manager clinging to the hope that repeating equity and sustainability enough times will make people forget he's actually made things worse. It's like a guy who burns down his own house and then offers to design your home security system. Sure, he's got great teeth. The camera loves him. And his hair does things most shampoo commercials only dream of. But underneath it all, it's paper-thin and substance-free. A governor-shaped hologram with zero capacity to fix the very mess he created.
Here's my suggestion to you. Choose a podcast format, go for 3 hours, okay? And do it this way. You come to us, okay?
There you go.
We will guarantee 3 hours. We'll guarantee minimum $1 million to both just to participate to your campaign. We'll do a super chat. People will be able to call in, all that other stuff. But it shouldn't be 2 minutes. Oh, stop. No, okay. No. None of that stuff.
Yeah.
I want to see if DeSantis, I want to see if Newsom can talk for 10 minutes with an answer. And I